So many great sponsors on board, and Joni, you see the sport and the sponsorships just continuing to grow with each and every tournament. It is really fun to watch. You are watching the quarterfinals of the Takeya Showcase, and coming up we got the brother-sister team of Linsey and Riley Newman, and they'll take on Parris, Todd, and Tyson McGuffin. So basically the chalk here in this one as well, as you've got the 4-5. One of them is going to go on to the semifinals.
Yeah, this one is going to be fun to watch. I know that may sound a little biased, but Tyson McGuffin and Parris Todd are two of the most electric players out there on the court, and to see them pairing up here is going to be fantastic. As you know, Tyson McGuffin typically playing with Lee Waters, right? The mother-daughter duo of Lee and Annalie Waters not here at the Takeya Showcase, so McGuffin pairing up with Todd for this one should be a really fantastic combination. Of course, Linsey and Riley, they've played together lots of times in the past, most recently at the PPA Championships a few weeks back, where they walked away with the bronze medal. So they'll be looking to run with that repeat success if they could.
And of course, you've also got Riley and Tyson with plenty of history together as well, longtime men's pro doubles partners. So there's a lot of ties between these teams in this match here. Parris Todd, not really so much with the ties as she's one of the more new players rising on the pickleball scene, having won 85 tennis titles before migrating to pickleball. But she's been spending her entire life on courts. She was handed a tennis racket when she was 5 years old. At her request, her parents were shocked when she asked them for a tennis racket as a gift, and they said, okay, we don't know much about tennis, but here you go.
Well, speaking of, Parris coming into this event is riding an incredible high. Just last week at Indian Wells, the USA Pickleball Nationals, she had a fantastic bracket run playing with J.W. Johnson. Also secured the bronze medal there with huge wins against Jesse Irvin, and Jay DeVilliers also took down Ben Johns in Catherine Parenta. So she had a fantastic weekend. Tyson didn't have as much success on the mixed doubles side of things, but he's also, according to him and his own words, playing like a new man recently. He's been upping his game, upping his aggression, and with a recent win in singles over Ben Johns, he's feeling fired up.
Yeah, this should be a whole lot of fun, and we are finally underway with this quarterfinal. McGuffin and Todd in the near court, and Todd hits that one wide. So Newman and Newman will 0-0-1. Take over the serve here and try to see if they can strike first.
Second serve.
Riley Newman with one of the most unique styles in pickleball, that two-handed backhand that he will hit more times than any other shot. He's going to favor that to his forehand.
He will also use his height to his advantage to sky for some shots when he is right on that kitchen line. And that one dances on the tape before finally falling to the court.
1-0-2.
1-0-2. See Riley keeping both hands on the paddle. And that one is going to be wide to the left.
Riley Newman known to have the fastest hands in pickleball. That very iconic two-handed backhand, part of that success. Getting into a firefight with him is so difficult to win.
Side out.
And Riley misfires there, so the side out will get it over to Todd and McGuffin.
0-2-1. Second serve.
McGuffin into the net. There's no doubt Parris Todd feels very comfortable at the Tennis and Pickleball Club at Newport Beach, as she played plenty of tennis here during her tennis career. In fact, this was, she says, where she was really first kind of drawn into playing pickleball by her grandparents.
Side out.
And the backhand misses there. So the side out back over to Newman and Newman.
Todd and McGuffin there were on the back foot for quite a few shots, had to defend a lot. And that final one, it was Todd who tried to cross over the middle,
2-0-1.
cut off that ball before it could get behind her, which resulted in the out ball.
Second serve.
Newman into the net.
Such good precision on those top spin dinks
2-0-2.
by both McGuffin and Todd, spreading those equally to both sides of the court.
And McGuffin puts it at Riley's feet.
Forcing Linsey wide, then taking it to the inside where he knew that Riley Newman had to cover. Really good strategy there, just spreading that ball around, keeping both players back, not allowing anyone to cheat their way up to the kitchen for free.
And now waiting to retrieve the ball. And how about early on here, Jonah, in this
0-2-1.
game? Both sides, the male and female counterparts staying right direct across from each other on the nets. But pretty opposite of what we saw in that Kovalova right pairing against Patrick Quinn and Gretschkina last match.
Second serve.
Look at that. Linsey Newman with the Ernie this time.
I mean, she pretty much was out on the side the entire time, but that was well played.
Side out.
Tyson there just tried to brute force his way up to the kitchen by sending a couple of drives at Riley,
2-0-1.
but that didn't cut it.
Been stuck on 2-0 here for a little bit. Linsey finally gets up to the kitchen. And then McGuffin into the net to make it 3-0 in favor of Newman and Newman.
Yeah, great start. Like you said, finally Linsey got up to the kitchen line, and that's when
3-0-1.
Riley decided, okay, time to speed it up, getting aggressive because he knows his sister is right there to cover.
And Riley puts it away for another point.
4-0-1.
Right at the body of McGuffin there. Turn around, knew he had no chance.
You don't see Tyson turn his back on a lot of balls like that. Oh, nice effort by Linsey, but unable to catch up to it.
Yeah, McGuffin with that inside-out forehand volley again.
4-0-2.
Well placed right at the feet of Linsey.
Oh, Parris painting that back into the court beautifully.
Set up by McGuffin there really nicely. Dropped that ball right at the feet of Linsey Newman again, who popped that ball up and allowed Todd to close the door.
And again, that ball going back behind that digital screen and the bleachers, so they finally do
Side out.
retrieve it.
0-4-1.
Oh, Parris flicks it up and catches the blue part of the court.
So tough to do this right. Just giving it
1-4-1.
enough pace so that their opponents thought it was going out, but giving it enough topspin so it just barely clipped the line.
Second serve.
But Tyson off the baseline, unable to clear the net.
1-4-2.
And that serve was deep,
Side
so side out gets it back to Newman
Can't
and
overrule.
Newman.
Can't overrule. 4-1-1.
Don Stanley, our lead ref for this match.
Point. 5-1-1.
5-1 for Newman and Newman. Executed
up well.
Yeah, executed perfectly there.
5-1-2.
Oh,
Sun out.
Riley saw an opening, but unable to get it over the net.
1-5-1.
Yeah, uncharacteristic missed opportunity for him.
Riley taking a couple of opportunities away from his sister.
Second serve.
Knew he had that one, though. Even hit a couple of balls that Linsey actually called out.
1-5-2.
The Newman family, very good at those out calls. Very distinct style.
Yeah, if you hit a ball that is getting called out, you better hit a winner. ATP by Newman.
Waits so long, making sure he can get that angle. Tough to do, again, with the lack of space that you have on the side of this court. You really got to make sure you fire it that quickly.
And the Newman's finally able to get to the kitchen. Not much Riley could do with that. Linsey said, "Oh, you."
5-1-2.
So 5-1-2. Riley speeds it up. And Parris puts it away.
Wow, way to finish that from Parris Todd. I actually think it was Parris Todd who initiated that firefight, which is bold against someone like Riley Newman, but she finished it out. A couple of resets, a couple more fiery shots, and, well, she ends it with a bang.
1-5-1.
She's not shy.
That's for sure.
Oh, Linsey going to the Ernie.
Second time she's done that cleanly. The only time she wasn't successful was when the ball clipped the tape and she got a bit unlucky. So a lot of success so far for Linsey Newman. Let's see if she can keep that up on the Ernies.
1-5-2. And McGuffin says, "I can do it too."
Yeah, slides across into the perfect position. Saw Riley taking up way too much space on Linsey's side of the court, knew there was the gap, and put it right into that space.
Off the tape and out. So Newman and Newman will get it back.
5-2-1. Second serve.
Move to 5-2-2.
And this time it was Linsey Newman who fired away with the two-handed backhand.
Again, it was Parris that sped it up. And again, it pays dividends.
Yeah, started it and closed the door with that one. Strong forehand.
Still just 2 points on the board for McGuffin and Todd, and it's going to move to 2-5-2.
Yeah, we know this is a team that is going to hang in there no matter what. They're a team that feeds off their own energy, the energy of the crowd. They've just got to find their rhythm here.
Points a huge commodity in this game. Seen a lot of action. We've only had 7 total points scored. And McGuffin lays off.
And lays off with a classic McGuffin bark. If you ever hear something that sounds like, oh, is there a dog on the court? Is that, no. That's just Tyson McGuffin hyping himself up, bringing that energy.
Point.
That one is long as well, so now it's back to a 1-point game.
4-5-2.
Oh, Linsey was ready for another Ernie.
Again, really good timing here. Puts it right where she knows that Todd is going to have to look down at that ball as she's taking a step back. Didn't see Linsey get up to the kitchen line and take advantage of the Ernie.
So the side out will get it back over to Newman and Newman.
6-4-1.
First time in this match. They're looking to get a little bit of breathing
Second
room.
serve.
McGuffin and Todd have done a nice job of fighting their way back into this one, but again, pickleball with so momentum-based, so many streaks possible. Got to stay composed.
Misfire there, though, and right back over to Todd and McGuffin.
Yes, ma'am. 4-6-1.
McGuffin doing great work on that kitchen line. Gets the approval from his partner, Parris Todd.
He defended for his life. He earned that put away through about 6 different reset shots he had to hit.
And suddenly, we've got a tie game.
See this one here.
6-6-1.
Todd really just does it. A beautiful, beautiful top spin dink that forced Riley Newman wide.
And McGuffin tags Linsey Newman. So momentum now clearly on the side of Todd and McGuffin. And you know what? The momentum switch, Jonah, we got a long ways to go here, but I feel like when Parris sped things up against Riley, that's kind of when things started to change a little bit.
Right, that's when they started to get a little bit more confident in their ability to hang in there against Riley Newman in these firefights. And we've seen them take that confidence to defending as well. Just like that.
Tyson works his way up to the line. Riley puts it 5-hole, though, on Parris.
The first reset was good, but the second one, just a hair too high, allowed Riley to do what he does best.
6-7-1.
And McGuffin right back at you.
Second serve. 6-7-2.
Great job by Tyson. And then the unforced error. But you got to tip your cap to Tyson McGuffin keeping that exchange alive.
One of Tyson's biggest strengths is his speed, his footwork, and he made full use of that there. You know, moving around to his left, moving around to his forehand, making sure that he gets in position to hit those resets calmly. That is what he does best.
Timeout being taken from Newport Beach. We'll step aside for a moment. Back after this quick break. Back in Newport Beach, California. The sun's starting to dip. And we should get treated to another spectacular sunset on the California coast as we did yesterday, and our coverage of the PPA Tour, the Takeya Showcase. Dave Benz, Jonah Zwillinger along with you. And just fantastic to be associated with this
Time
tournament.
7-7-2.
Such a great venue, such great tennis history, and now making a whole bunch of pickleball history as well.
Yeah, this year the Takeya Showcase has been incredibly exciting already. We've seen so many different mashups between partners. We've seen already a couple of different upsets today alone, but this event has already built itself a place in pickleball history. Last year, thrilling results as well.
Oh, Tyson lets it go, and it lands in. So Newman and Newman out of that timeout have scored consecutive points, and now they're 2 away from taking game 1.
9-7-2.
Riley and Linsey Newman out of the Pacific Northwest. Great defense by Riley. Nice job catching up to that. And Riley finally able to get Parris Todd to misfire, and that's going to bring up game point number 1.
Really looked like Parris Todd had Riley Newman on his heels here. Nice again with that top spin dink that forced Riley across the court, but then what the big problem was, at least for Todd, is that Riley Newman predicted her second shot really well. After he was forced wide, she was going to go to the middle, so he slid all the way back across the court and was ready for the next one, able to take advantage, force Parris off balance, and take the point as a result.
So great to be able to see the court that way, be able to be a couple of shots ahead of what you're going to do, and then be able to execute it on top of it.
Right, that's a combination of things that is very hard to do in any given point, but it's why that we're looking at the best of the best that pickleball has to offer. Riley Newman not only fantastic in mixed doubles with what we're seeing now, but he and his partner Matt Wright have built themselves an impressive resume in the men's doubles side of things, an incredible rivalry against Ben Johns and Colin Johns, something that we'll hopefully see more in our coverage tomorrow.
Well, there's no doubt they will try to make an impact, and we'll get our coverage for you going tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern on Tennis Channel. And I hope you're going to be able to be aboard all weekend long. But here we go, game point out of the timeout for Newman and Newman. And misfire there.
That is how you keep someone back. I mean, Linsey Newman was on her heels for a while there.
So the timeout serves its purpose, gets the side out, and McGuffin and Todd will try to climb out of this hole. And Riley hits it down Broadway.
Second serve.
Yeah, picking on Linsey a little bit here, but finally, Todd tried to speed it up towards Riley, and he was ready.
7-10-2. Riley able to catch up to it and then lets it go.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit long.
It was a little bit long. Great decision to lay off of it.
10-7-1.
And great communication. You see Linsey with the reaction. So we got game point number 2. Lob does land in. Riley, great job on the baseline. Now Riley gets up to the kitchen, and that'll close out game 1.
Yeah, splitting McGuffin and Todd well. We did hear some good communication from them. Todd calling McGuffin off the first and then telling Tyson to take the second, but Tyson on his back foot there had to backpedal a little bit, as you're about to see. And he just hit it into the top of the tape here as he was off balance just a bit.
So game one in the books for the brother and sister team of Newman and Newman. Game two coming your way after this timeout. Well, Riley Newman and his sister Linsey feeling pretty good. They survived game one against Tyson McGuffin and Parris Todd. But that was an all-out war. And Joe and I suspect we're going to see that continue here in game two.
Yeah, you know that Parris Todd and Tyson McGuffin are not going away without a fight. And we did see sort of a strategy developing there towards the end of the game where they were really picking on Linsey Newman in that corner. And then when Riley slid over, putting a ball right by him and trying to take advantage of that.
And Riley with that backhand, Tyson misfires.
Yeah, Newman kept that one a little bit high, almost baiting McGuffin into that, and well, Tyson just couldn't get it quite low enough to prevent Riley from attacking again.
Oh, nice work on that baseline by both Newmans.
Point.
And off the tape, it doesn't get over. That'll be 2-0, an early advantage for Newman and Newman.
2-0-2.
And make it 3-0. Newman and Newman needed 3 games to get past Anna Bright and Dylan Frazier to get to the quarterfinals. Oh, Riley, how did he get that one? And then Parris Todd says, I don't care.
Yeah, a couple of these shots from Todd looked like they were going to be impossible to get back, but I mean, as always, both of the Newmans, a defensive masterclass there.
Linsey trying to get it to Parris, but Tyson comes in. And the court was open as Linsey was over there on the side trying to sniff out an Ernie, and Riley was in the center, so Parris takes advantage.
Yeah, smart there, seeing she had that gap. For a moment, I mean, it looked like Riley was able to hang in there, but eventually, even a big of a guy as him cannot cover the entire court.
That one sails long. So move to 1-3-2.
1-3-2.
And Riley flicks his wrist and ends the exchange.
That point, a perfect example of a little adjustment I think we've seen Linsey Newman make here. Last game, she was getting forced off that kitchen line a little bit more than she would have liked. We saw her backpedaling, taking a little bit more space. That point, for example, she stayed all the way up there and did not give them an inch.
Great communication there. They let it go, and it's a 4-1 advantage. I feel like another point here, and you might see Todd and McGuffin use a timeout. They might not wait for another point. They're going to use the timeout right now.
This is smart. You've got to stop the bleeding if you can, because, I mean, the Newmans, they're running away with this one. They've got the momentum right now, and it seems that whatever strategy adjustments that Todd and McGuffin have tried to make, Newman and Newman have made some strong adjustments too.
This is our final quarterfinal match of the pro mixed doubles. The semifinals still to come, and our first semifinal match that'll be coming up for you following the conclusion of this one. Jesse Irvin and Jay DeVilliers, the 3 seed, will take on Matt Wright and Lucy Kovalova, the 2 seed, for a berth in Sunday's championship. And the winner of this one will move on to take on the 8 seed of AJ Kohler and Andrea Koop, who have made a little bit of noise in advancing to the semifinals. There's a look at what is ahead. So we're getting some, as we get the numbers dwindling in terms of teams left in this competition, the names get a little bit more recognizable.
Yeah, the names more recognizable and the matches more iconic. You get to this stage in the game, the quarters and the semis, and you're going to see rematches of historic battles, of games that go the distance time after time. So good to see these matchups trying to take shape here.
So 4-1 out of the timeout. And make it 5-1.
Linsey willing one of those dinks over the net, much like we see Riley do. And it worked. She got it over, and Todd not able to get it back.
Well, the timeout not stopping the momentum. Suddenly a 6-1 advantage.
6-1-1.
Luckily, you do have one more timeout if you need it, but...
And they're still on the first serve. It's 7-1. And they're going to use the timeout right now. So this is going to be the final timeout for this game for Todd and McGuffin, facing a 7-1 deficit and already down a game in this quarterfinal match. And McGuffin and Todd talking some strategy right now. You can see him in that top right side of your screen. And Jonah, at this point, I think you're just probably saying, hey, you know what? We can't worry too much about the deficit. We gotta break the serve and get the side out.
It's so tough to do, right? You know you're in a hole of this size, and I mean, somehow you've got to construct a ladder, and you've got to do it within the next few points, because Linsey and Riley, they are a few points away from not only taking the game, but taking the match. Todd and McGuffin are on the back foot. They have been for some time, and although it looked like there was a strategy developing, a rhythm developing with them towards the end of that first game, what we saw there just hasn't translated to this game too. They've got to find it again if they can.
By the way, it was interesting. You couldn't see it on your screen, but Linsey and Riley, they went to the timeout. They didn't even look at each other. They just, I've seen enough of you. You're my sibling. I've had years
That's
with you.
Typical sibling stuff, yeah.
Well, they do break the first serve. Can they break the second? Moves to 7-1-2.
7-1-2. Point.
And great communication to let it go, to move it to 8-1.
8-1-2.
I think Parris, Todd hit every single shot on that side of the net in that point.
Riley makes it 9-1. And this second game, not at all like the first. The first was an all-out battle.
9-1-2.
And right now, the Newmans looking like they are closing in on cruising to victory here in game 2. Wow, both Newmans doing a great job to keep this exchange alive. And Riley puts Team Newman a point away.
What a point, and what a way to put themselves on match point as well. Putting the nail in the coffin with that one. A point that Todd and McGuffin should have won several different times, but the Newmans, I mean, you usually describe Tyson as scrappy, but that was a scrappy point from the Newmans if I've ever seen one.
Match point number 1. Well, still breathing, but a lot of work to do as the side out gets it back to Todd McGuffin.
Hanging on by the skin of their teeth, but it is not over yet.
Well, we all know that
Second
11th
serve.
point, the hardest one to get, but that will help their cause. It moves to 110-2.
110-2.
Tyson and Linsey just going back and forth in the finesse game. I feel like Riley's just waiting for an opening. And instead it's Parris Todd that finds an opening.
Well, Riley thought he found it. He went hard at Todd with this one. You're about to see right here, but Parris was ready.
Yeah, Riley put it up too high. And Tyson tags Riley. So consecutive points for McGuffin and Todd.
3-10-2.
Linsey not finding the Ernies yet in game 2. Hasn't really seemed to matter for them, given the scoreline.
And Riley tries to go down the boulevard, but he misses the exit.
Timeout receiving team, 4-10-2.
And now a timeout is going to be taken by Newman and Newman.
Okay.
A little bit of momentum, Jonah, for McGuffin and Todd. We'll take a timeout. We'll see if they can continue that momentum. Stay with us from Newport Beach. Back in Newport Beach, California, Todd and McGuffin have at least gotten enough momentum to force Newman and Newman to use the first timeout. But
Time in, 4-10-2.
it is still a lopsided margin here in game 2. And into the net. And now the serve will go back over to Newman and Newman. This will be match point number 2.
10-4.
McGuffin got jammed up there. Not much he could do.
And McGuffin calls Todd off, and it ends up being the right decision.
Just barely, but it was the right decision.
10-4-2.
Match point number 3. There will not be a match point number 4. Newman and Newman finally close it out. The third try proves to be the charm.
Look at this shot from Linsey Newman, though. I mean, to finish off the match, defending like this, but then placing this one on the line.
But it is apropos, Jonah, because both Riley and Linsey, I mean, they really won this match with their defense.
Oh, they did. I mean, there were so many points where we saw both Parris Todd and Tyson McGuffin as the aggressors. They were applying that pressure. They were forcing both Newmans to stay at that baseline. But on time and time again, we saw both Linsey and Riley fight their way back up, get their way back to the kitchen, and then, lo and behold, they would take the point somehow. Maybe it was Parris Todd clipping the top of the tape. Maybe it was Riley Newman speeding one up and finding that opportunity. But regardless of how it happened, I mean, look at this. They move on to the semifinals, and they've got Coop and Kohler waiting for them.
And that match will come up in just a little bit. First, we're going to get you back to courtside, and Hannah Johns has an interview on the other side of this break.
Welcome back to Center Court, everyone. I'm joined by Riley and Linsey Newman. They're headed to the semifinal later on today. I'm also joined by little Cora, Linsey's daughter. Linsey, walk me through this match. It was tight, it was close, but you guys were able to come away with this one in 2.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously one heck of a team. So anytime we're on the other side of the net of both of them, it's just trying to make as many balls as we can. I try to get out of Riley's way so he can make a ton of balls. So it's good. It was a good victory. They played really well, and we're happy to make it through.
Well, it was a new atypical partnership to see across the other side of the net. You're going to see another one of those in your next match, Kohler and Coop. Do you prepare differently for those matches?
Well, I think Linsey and I, we prepare the same way. We obviously talk about strategy before the match. AJ and Andrea, they're going to bring all the goods. We know that. It's going to be a tough match. And so hopefully Cora can give me a little inspiration in the semifinal, and hopefully the Newmans will bring it.
Well, speaking of Cora, I know you've got another one at home as well, and you've taken bits and pieces of the year off, but you always come out here so fresh, looking so good, game on point. How on earth do you stay so on point with your game?
I think you're the only one that thinks that. I totally disagree. Like I said, I just try to get out of Riley's way. I try to make as many balls as I can. I don't want the eye roll from him. So, you know, if I can just put a ton of balls in play and every once in a while make a decent play, I'll be happy with that.
I think you're doing just fine out there. Guys, we're going to be back with our first semifinal of the night after this.